programs before, many of you. One of the things that our founder Acharya did, we like to follow, he would sing this nice song. It's just names of Krishna, 8 names of Krishna in a song. Krishna in Vrindavan specifically. Radha Madhava. We'll go through it slowly. Radha, we all know Radharani, right? Radha Madhava. Madhava is the husband of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. So normally Lakshmi Madhava, but this is Radha Madhava. It's the Braja version of Krishna, Radha and Krishna. Kunja Bihari. Bihari, he's the enjoyer of pastimes. Radha and Krishna are the enjoyer together of pastimes in the kunjas, or the groves of Vrindavan, because Vrindavan means a forest. There are 12 forests in Vrindavan, in the whole of the greater area, and Vrindavan is the place where Krishna spent much of his time. And there's groves, and they would, Radha and Krishna, or Radha and Madhava, would go and enjoy various pastimes together. Gopi Jana Balaba. Gopi Jana means the Jana, the people of Vrindavan, because they're, by occupation, they're cow herds. So there's the Gopas and there's the Gopis. And he's the enjoyer of activities with the Gopis. Gopi Jana Balaba. And you all know Giri Varadhari. Giri means hill or mountain. Varadhari, he's the lifter of the Govardhan hill. Only he did it with his left hand. And not only with his left hand, but the little finger of his left hand. It's pretty incredible. But he's all powerful. He could lift Govardhan hill without lifting Govardhan hill. Just by his willing it to happen, it would levitate. So he performed a pastime, protecting the residents of Vrindavan from a torrential 11, 12-inch rainfall, and the whole of Vrindavan was flooded. It's a nice pastime. And why? Because Krishna saw that the demigod that supplies rain, namely Indra, he was proud. So Krishna wanted to curb or diminish the pride of his devotee. He doesn't like pride. So he did something that caused Indra to be irritated, and he decided, I'm going to flood the whole of Vrindavan and kill all the cows. And he was very bad-spirited. For Krishna, no problem. He lifted Govardhan hill, and all of Vrindavan and their cows and their everything fit under the Govardhan hill, because it's a big hill. It takes 6 hours to walk around Govardhan hill. He lifted it with his little pinky. Giri Varadhari. Now that's 4 of the 8 names. Yasoda Nandana is the son of Yashoda. That's his mother. Braja Jana, there's this word Jana again. Braja Jana, Ranjana. He enjoyed his activities with the Braja Janas, the residents of Braja or Vrindavan. Yamuna Tira, by the banks of the river Yamuna, Vanachari. He engaged in his activities with the Braja Janas along the banks of the river Yamuna. So that's the song. It's just remembering Krishna in Vrindavan through the medium of names of Krishna relevant to or constructed according to his pastimes in Vrindavan. with the associates. So we'll sing twice, and then we'll move on to Balaram's Appearance Day celebration, which was just 2 days ago. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Balabha Girivada Dadi, Gopi Jana Balabha Girivada Dadi, Gopi Jana Balabha Girivada Dadi. Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana, Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana, Jamuna Tiravana Chadi, Yamuna Tiravana Chadi, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Gopi Jana Balabha Girivada Dadi, Gopi Jana Balabha Girivada Dadi, Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana, Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana, Jamuna Tiravana Chadi, Jamuna Tiravana Chadi, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Gaur Premanandi Haribo. So I'm going to assume, probably reasonably closely, there's some experienced devotees in the audience I recognize, and it's nice to see you again after such a long time. And there's probably some newer people here. And we'll make a nice, try to make a presentation that's relevant to both. And the occasion, which brings me all the way to Milwaukee, is the appearance day of Lord Balaram. And Lord Balaram appears on a full moon. Did any of you happen to notice the full moon? There was a big rainstorm yesterday, but the day before was the Purnima. Wasn't it big and kind of gold colored, reddish gold colored? It was really spectacular. Big, bright. Purnima. Purna means complete. And Purnima is the day when the moon is full. So that's when Balarama appears. And here's a nice painting. It's a classic B.G. Sharma painting, very well-known artist from India. And as you see, Balarama is carrying a plow over his right shoulder. And that indicates his function. So some of you know Krishna and Balaram, in their childhood pastime, they appeared and engaged in activities in the cowherd community, Vaishya, or mercantile sector of society. And there's 3 activities. Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijam. Krishi is agriculture. Go Raksha, cow protection. Vanijam, but if there's access, then trade and commerce. Those 3 are activities in the social structure of Vedic culture. So he's carrying a plow because that indicates the agriculture part. And in his other hand, he's holding some nice flowers. So he can be, we'll hear some more today about his plow. It's kind of a magical plow. And we'll hear something what the meaning of his name is from the in Vedic culture. When a new child is born, after some time, a qualified astrologer will perform an astrological calculation from the time of his birth. And based upon the birth calculation, astrologically, he'll be given names. So we'll hear about Gargamuni giving names to Krishna and Balaram. It's an interesting pastime. So here's chapter 2 from Krishna book. What Krishna book is, this is now mainly for newer people. In 1972, that was early. Prabhupada was in the process of translating the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, and by this point in time, he was still on Canto 1. 1972, 1971, 72. Still on, Canto 2, because before he came to the West, he had completed Canto 1. So he was working on Canto 2, chapter by chapter. And then he skipped ahead because he said later, I didn't know how long I would live. And I wanted the world to have a proper understanding of Krishna, because Krishna is discussed in Cantos 10. And there's many related to Krishna topics in the first 9 cantos, and then there's Canto 10. So he made what he called the summary study. Summary study means he wasn't like a verse-by-verse translation. That came later. And that's what he was doing with Canto 1 and Canto 2, but it was a summary study. But it's Canto 10. It's Krishna's appearance. So in chapter 2 of Krishna book, this is Prabhupada's commentary, and the commentary is resting upon a certain verse. I'll point to you what that verse is. One cannot attain the supreme platform of self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balaram. Why? Bala does not mean physical strength. Bala means strength, but not physical strength. one must have spiritual strength, which is infused by Balaram or Sankarshana. We'll hear some more about those two terms in a moment. It has to do with the name that the astrologer gave to Krishna and Balaram at the time of their early childhood. Balaram or Sankarshana is the source of all spiritual power, or the original spiritual master. So those of you that are not so familiar, there's in spiritual life, there's way up here, that's Krishna, who is the source of everything. And then there are persons who are empowered representatives, that their service to others, to the world, is to remind people of Krishna when they've forgotten. And that was Prabhupada's word. I'll tell a little Prabhupada story. When Prabhupada came to America for the approximately first year, he didn't have any money. Imagine living in New York City and you don't have any money. Pretty scary. And the only source of money was, from time to time, he would sell his Canto 1 Srimad Bhagavatam sets to bookstores and other places, and then he would have some money to live on. Otherwise, he had no money. Before he came to America, he was a householder and had a business and was a prosperous person. But when he came to America, he didn't have any of that. He left all of that with his family and came alone with 14 rupees in his pocket. And at that time, there was no currency exchange where 14 rupees, you couldn't exchange it for dollars. There was no such thing. So it was penniless. Scary. Try it. I don't advise you to try it. Live anywhere. What to speak of New York City? When you don't have any money. You don't have any place to stay. He didn't have a place to stay. He didn't have a place to stay. So he met a man. He met Dr. Mishra. Mishra means, he's a Brahmana person, and he was a successful person, and he had his own apartment, but he also had a little office area over to the side. So he gave a room in his office. Means no kitchen, no toilet, no nothing. An office. That's where Prabhupada lived for a number of months. To pass stool, he had to go to knock on Dr. Mishra's door, and he'd let him in so he could use his bathroom. He'd take a shower and cook in his kitchen. It was like very austere. Then in course of time, maybe some number of months, almost 8 months, he was giving classes here and there, and there was a little gathering of young American people that they appreciated his message. And so they got some contribution together and rented a storefront on Bowery, on 2nd Avenue. And 2nd Avenue then was kind of, sorry to say, but a little grungy. Like, not nice. But it was a storefront. So they made it nice just by Prabhupada being there. And 3 nights of the week, kirtan. Short lecture, because there were young people, they didn't really understand too much. So short lecture. And he would lecture on Bhagavad Gita. Kirtan lecture, prasadam, or more kirtan than prasadam. And Prabhupada did the cooking for whatever guests would come, because nobody knew how to cook. So he was the cook. By this time, he had a little an apartment where he could cook. So he cooked for everyone. And then it started to grow and grow and grow because, like, you know, the kirtans were nice. Led by such a gifted personality. And as the kirtans grew and grew and grew and got more and more lively, guess what? They started dancing because it was lively. They'd get up and dance. And then, 3 nights of the week. And then it became so lively that at one point it was kind of the springtime season. One of the devotees there asked Prabhupada, is it okay? This is so wonderful. Can we take this out into the public? And Prabhupada said, I was just waiting for you to ask. Yes. But you have to get a permit because we don't want to have a problem with the police. So they got a permit. And, this motley crew of young American kids led by a very elder sadhu, Indian sadhu, they went down 8th Street over to Tompkins Square Park, and they sat down to the same thing in the park that they did at 26 2nd Avenue. Kirtan. Only the kirtan went not just for 45 minutes, it went for 3 hours. 3 hours. And by the end of 3 hours, there was a big crowd of people like, what? What's this? They had never seen or heard anything like this. It's just kirtan, mantra chanting. And at the end, so the punchline is coming. At the end, Prabhupada stopped, so the kirtan stopped, and he stood up, and there's some very historical photographs. Prabhupada standing very poised with his hands in front of him like this. Behind is a big church, down another block or so, because it's in a park, and a big elm tree. And Prabhupada looked around, and they're like, I wasn't there, but I heard this from someone that was there. People were thinking, what's this man from Mars going to say? And he said something very simple. And then what he said was, I've not come to teach something new. I've simply come to remind you of that which you have forgotten. Pretty cool. I mean, a world acharya in the making, his first public address in a park, and it was his message. I've not come to teach something new. I've only come to remind you of that which you have forgotten. So what it is that we have forgotten, it's who we are and our relationship with the source of everything and our function in relation to the source of everything. That's what he came to remind us of. And that's the function of spiritual master. And Balarama is the original spiritual master because Balarama wants to give Krishna to everybody. And the one who is representative of Balarama wants to give Krishna to everybody. Appropriate for the audience, a little bit at a time or whatever seems to work. Some kirtan or some prasadam or some message or something simple. And then slowly develop it for those who want to hear. So Balarama is the original spiritual master, and he has all spiritual power to deliver Krishna. So here we see him again. This plow that he's carrying is a pretty small one, but that's just the artist. And in the Hare Krishna mantra, we were just, for those of you who came in a bit late, we were in the beginning just chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. And in the Upanishads, Kali Sanartana Upanishad, there's a verse that says there are many mantras, but amongst the many mantras, there's one that's the Maha mantra. And it lists exactly as we see on the screen, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in the Upanishads. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took that mantra and made that his main mantra that he propagated here and there and elsewhere. And there are it's very simple. There's 3 words, Hare Krishna and Rama. Here's the meaning. In the Sanskrit language, one of the names of Radharani, or the spiritual potency of the source of everything, is Hara. And Hara, when you call Hara, it becomes Hare in the vocative. It's just grammar. Hara becomes Hare. So Hare is calling Radharani. Energy of the Supreme, please engage me in the service of the source, Krishna. So that's the first half. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama means the reservoir. Krish means to attract. Krish. There's 2 syllables, Krishna. Krish means to attract. So the all-attractive Supreme. And Rama means pleasure. Transcendental pleasure. Not the other kind. Transcendental pleasure. So he's the reservoir of all transcendental pleasure. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now there's some persons who have a different idea. Rama, to some persons, it refers to Lord Ramachandra. And to some persons, Rama refers to Balarama. So there's a nice purport explaining this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is Prabhupada's purport. I'll read. If someone says that the Rama in the Hare Rama is Lord Ramachandra, and someone else says that the Rama in Hare Rama is Sri Balaram, both are correct. Because there's no difference between Balarama and Lord Rama. And because this is from a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Adi Leela, the author of the entire 17-volume Chaitanya Charitamrita is Krishna Das Kaviraj, he makes his commentary where he says, Ye rupe jane se taha kahe is Bengali. In whatever form one knows the Lord, one speaks of him in that way. In this way, there's no falsity, since everything is possible in Krishna. That kind of takes care of everything, because it's true. Within Krishna is everything. Here's a very nice thing Prabhupada's saying I like. There are 2 things. There's Krishna and there's Krishnas. There's no third thing in the creation of God. Because the third thing would be something that's not from Krishna. So Krishna, that which comes from Krishna. And there's not a third thing. It encompasses everything. Everything is possible in Krishna because everything that exists is within Krishna. If someone calls Lord Ramachandra by the vibration, Hare Rama, understanding it to mean, oh, Lord Ramachandra, he's quite right. Similarly, if one says that Hare Rama means, oh, Sri Balarama, he's also quite right. Those who are aware of the Vishnu Tattva do not fight over all these details. The Vishnu Tattva, for those who are newer, what does that mean? Tattva means truth, or the teachings in relation to something, and Vishnu is a category. Vishnu is a category, meaning all of the forms of the Lord as they expand and expand and expand and expand, because there's so many forms that emanate from the source of everything. They're Vishnu forms. And there's many names as the Lord appears in this world, or as avatars of Vishnu. So both Lord Ramachandra and Balaram, they're in the same category, the category of Vishnu Tattva. There's other categories. We're in another category. We're Jiva Tattva. And there's another category. There's material nature, prakriti, tattva. So there are different, that which makes up the totality of everything that comes from the source of everything. There's categories of those tattvas. And as one goes further in spiritual understanding, then one can see, how this connect with that, connect with the other, and the whole activity is moving, but under the direction of the source of everything. The problem is we forgot the connection with the source of everything. Like Prabhupada said, I've not come to teach you something new, I've just come to remind you of that which you've forgotten. Like, what's the source of everything? Who am I and who are you and who are we connected to the source of everything? And have a proper relationship between you and me and everyone, all living entities, because of the connection with the source of everything. And understanding that source of everything, then we can understand better how to conduct ourselves in the peaceful and prosperous life. Here's a nice painting I like very much. I'm going to explain about it. It's Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. And a little detail. 3 years ago, I was in Houston, Texas, and for Balaram's appearance day, Balarama Purnima, like here it's, in the Midwest, and the year before that it was in Florida, and the year before that was in Texas. So I was staying in the Houston, Texas temple. They're very successful and very prosperous, and they built a whole ashram just for sannyasis, without all the detail. And so there's one room called the Kadamba room. And there's a Parijata room over there, and there's different trees and flowering trees by different. We have names for the. So I stay in the Kadamba room, and on the wall is this painting. The screen isn't really big, but the painting is really big. The painting is like it's like 3 feet tall and 2.5 feet wide. It's really big. It's not like poster, but it's a certain kind of art copying where it looks like you have to touch it to tell whether it's the original or not. That's how good the reproduction is. Really good system of making a copy of an original painting is in Florida or in California, where the BBT has. So Krishna and Balaram sitting there, and Balaram's appearance day, as was done here some days before Balaram's appearance day, all the topics are on Balaram, 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 in anticipation of Balaram's appearance day. So every morning, I was sitting in front of this very large, awesome painting, chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then again and again for 2 hours, just immersed in the because the name and the form and the person and the qualities and the pastimes of that which is spiritual, they're all spiritual. They're equally spiritual. And I don't know how to say this properly, but kind of a mystical experience. Maybe some of you have had some special experience with some wonderful artwork. I've had a feeling like that. Krishna and Balaram were there. I mean, they are there. But an experience that they're there is different than just check the box in your exam and you get an A in your exam to say that they're not different. But the experience it was a very nice experience. Krishna and Balaram. It's a scene in Vrindavan. There's some cows in the background. There's some large trees because Vrindavan is a forest. Down the lower left, you can't see so well, but it's a peacock and some birds and so forth. And there they are with cows in Vrindavan. It's a nice painting. Here's Balaram again with a plow. And this is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The English translation Prabhupada provided us as Nectar Devotion. Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. Sindhu means ocean. An ocean of Bhakti Rasa. And that ocean of Bhakti Rasa is Amrita. It's immortality. It's very sweet and wonderful. That's a book by Rupa Goswami. And in the book, he's describing the form of Balaram. And it goes like this. I take shelter of Baladev, the enemy of Pralamba. Pralamba's in their childhood pastimes in Vrindavan. Krishna took care of many demons, but Balaram took care of two, Dhenukasura and Pralambasura. On the edge of his cheek dangles one earring. The lotuses decorating his ears are covered with bees. His tilak is made of musk. On his broad chest shines a gunja berry necklace. His complexion is as white as an autumn cloud. His cloth is blue. His voice is deep, and his arms hang down to his knees. Now, the arms hang down to his knees. By other references, that's a sign of a great personality or Mahapurusha. Without all the details, it's a characteristic of very, very special persons. Their arms are for protection, and the power and the length of their arms is corresponding to their ability to give protection to others. Mahapurusha. Now this photograph, is a photograph in a place in Vrindavan called Unchagaon. Any persons here have been to Vrindavan, first of all? Oh, very good. And have any of you been to Unchagaon? Unchagaon it's a little remote, but it's very, very confidential. It's very, I'm holding my hand up in the air. It's near Varsana. Varsana is the ancestral home of Radharani's parents, Vrishabhanu and Kirtida. They lived in a palace up on Varsana, the hill. And toward the bottom of the hill, there are villages where each of the principal associates of Radharani, the principal gopis, 8 principal gopis, there are 8 villages. And Unchagaon, Gaon means like a village. Unchagaon is a village where Lalita. 2 among the 8 are Nishaka and Lalita, associates of Radharani. They're always with her. Her dearmost buddies, friends, lovers. And, they just are absorbed in service to Radharani. So this is a deity in the village of Unchagaon, the place of Lalita Devi. And the deities are Radha and Krishna. And on the right-hand side is not Lalita, but it's Radharani's sister. In case you didn't know, Radharani has an older brother and she has a younger sister. Sridham is her older brother, and Ananga Manjari is Radharani's younger sister. And in Unchagaon, that's Ananga Manjari by the side of, on our left side, but on Krishna's right side, because it's Radha Krishna. Radha's over here, and Krishna's over here. So she's over here. And she, Anangamanjari, it is said, Anangamanjari is a partial manifestation of the power of Balaram. So listen carefully. I'll only say it once. But in relationships with Krishna, there are different moods or rasas, primary ways with which to associate with Krishna. And one of those primary ways is a conjugal rasa, like Radha Krishna. Or in the Vaikuntha realm, Lakshmi Narayan. Or Sita Ram. It's a conjugal relation. So Radharani has that relation. And Ananga Manjari assists Radharani in Radharani's dealings with Krishna. So she also has that conjugal relation. Ananga Manjari, as the younger sister of Radharani, Lord Balaram assists in Krishna's conjugal pastimes. So that's one relationship. Then Balaram is an elder brother. Balaram is Krishna's elder brother. They weren't exactly brothers, but they were brothers in a friendship kind of relationship. Elder brother, younger brother. And as the elder brother, he was always looking out for the welfare of the younger brother. Older brothers naturally do like that. It's part of the Vedic culture. They're honored, and the elder brother has that, as expected, and commonly has that mood, looking after the younger brother. So just like here, on this past Friday was Balaram's appearance day. Count 8 more days and you get Krishna's appearance day. Krishna Janmastami. Ashta means 8. 8 days after the full moon comes Ashtami day. And that's when Krishna makes his appearance. So Krishna's the younger brother, Balaram's the older brother. So he had this other, now relationship number 2, like protective, like parental affection. As parents will protect their child, the elder brother will protect his younger brother. That kind of Vatsalya-like mood towards Krishna. That's 2 of the 5 primary rasas. Then another, they're cowherd boys, so they have a kind of friendship. It's blended into the others, but that's fine. Sakya rasa, friends. Another rasa, or the mellow of love. And very prominent is Balaram's mood that he just wants to be in service to Krishna. Doesn't matter what the circumstances, he wants to be in Krishna's service. Dasya. And Balaram also manifests the 5th rasa as neutrality. He manifests the whole abode and the paraphernalia that Krishna uses in his activities. It's his potency that manifests all those items in the whole Dham. Braja Dham, manifest by the potency of Balaram. In this way, he serves Krishna in all rasas. Now, I want to correct a mistake that I just made. This photograph, I got ahead of myself. This photograph is from a temple alongside Radhakund. Those of you that have been to Vrindavan, you know where Radhakund is. It's in the north end of Govardhan Hill. Govardhan Hill runs north and south, long, narrow mountain. And the northern side is Radhakund and Shamakund. And along the side of Shamakund, or Radhakund, is a temple of Gopinath. So that's the deity that's here. Gopinath, and by this side of Gopinath is Ananga Manjari. Correction of something that I said earlier. Now I hope technology works, because you see in this painting there's Balaram with his plow, but also in his other hand, there's this other instrument. What's that other instrument? It's a plowshare. It's what's put on the backside of the bull so they can plow the field. It's an instrument or facility for agriculture, plowing the field. So that's indicating Balaram's position as the son of the cowherd family. And Balaram is included in there as a Leela avatar. What's a Leela avatar? Leela avatar means avatar, ones who descends from the spiritual world to this world. And there's a celebrated song in which the 10 primary avatars are described in the song. And Jaya Jagadisha Hare is the refrain that comes at the end. So it didn't work yesterday. Let's see if it works today. Here's the Sanskrit at the top. See that little horn on the left? Those of you that are far away, you can't see it. But there's a little horn. That means there's an embedded sound recording. And if it works, you'll be able to hear that some very nice singers sing this song. You did something. What'd you do?
Increase the volume.
You muted?
No, increase the volume.
Increase the volume. But it's not going at all. This happened yesterday, too. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just you have to move along. I'm going to read the translation. But the context is there's a celebrated series of 10 songs. Each one of the 10 is glorifying one of the 10 principal Leela avatars, like Buddha, Parashuram, Lord Nrsingadev, Kurma, different avatars, principal avatars, and there's a verse that corresponds with each one of those 10. And this one is about Balaram. And I'm going to check the recording for any future circumstance, because it was working before. Okay. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe. That's Jaya Jagadisha Hare. O Lord of the universe. O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a plow-wielding Balaram. That's Hala. Hala is his plow. You see the second line? Hala, Hati, Biti. He was carrying a plow. All glories to you on your brilliant white body. You wear garments colored like a fresh rain cloud. Because Krishna is sometimes described as having that hue to his body, like a fresh shama, like a fresh rain cloud, like dark rain cloud. So Balaram's clothing is of the same color, dark blue, like a fresh rain cloud. And the river Yamuna is of the same color as Krishna, the same color as the garment of Lord Balaram. She's also dark complexioned. Yamuna, dark blue. Whom you frightened with the blows of your plow. So there's a pastime I'm going to narrate, and it has to do with Krishna, what the last line on this in the song. Balaram frightened Yamuna with the blows of his plow. Now, the plow is used for agriculture, for plowing the field, the plow. But he also used it to warn people that they're stepping out of line. And one of those was the Yamuna. And the circumstance goes to a period of time after Krishna and Balaram had left Vrindavan. By the invitation of Kamsa, they went to Mathura. And when in Mathura, Krishna and Balaram finished the wrestlers, Chandra and Mustika, finished their three brothers, finished Kamsa, and then went to the prison house and freed their mother and father. Vasudeva and Devaki were put in prison by wicked Kamsa. Then many other things happened. They gave them their Upanayana, because since the time they were in Vrindavan, they didn't have that thread-giving ceremony. And then they sent her to school, and they finished school really quickly. They were really smart kids. And then they came back to Mathura. They stayed for some time in Mathura. And then, circumstance, they went to Dwarka. So 3 primary places of residence for Krishna and Balaram. First, Vrindavan. Second, Mathura. Third, Dwarka. So all the while, when Krishna and Balaram were in Dwarka, Krishna felt attachment, profound, transcendental attachment to the residents of Vrindavan. They loved him, he loved them, and he was feeling separation. So, you know what, Balaram, I can't go back. And he gave a reason why he can't go back. Here's the reason. Because if I go back to Vrindavan, there's still some demons on earth, and they'll know that I have affinity for Vrindavan. They'll go harass the resident of Vrindavan. So I can't go back until I finish all the demons. But you can go. And when you go, carry my message to them. I miss them very much. And he had, a whole series of messages for different ages and ranges and personalities in Vrindavan. And when you go, it's nice if you can also, as you knew that I engaged in rasa dance with my set of gopis, there's another set of gopis I didn't engage in rasa dance with. So you engage with them in rasa dance, and it'll be very nice. So Balaram went all the way from Dwarka, all the way to Vrindavan, and he did all those things that Krishna said. Gave messages to different persons. He heard their outpourings of love and separation. He shared with them Krishna's outpourings of love and separation. So it wasn't him, Krishna coming, but it was next best. Words from Krishna to them. And because it was the autumn evening, it was very warm, that you see that in the sky there's a full moon. It's a nice time for rasa dance. And because Balaram wanted to cool off, so he wanted to take a bath in the Yamuna. So he called the Yamuna to come. And the Yamuna didn't come. She thought, this fellow, who's he? He seems to be intoxicated, because Balaram had been drinking Varuni beverage, which is made from honey. And when you take too much honey, you can have a problem. You appear to be intoxicated. So they thought, this fellow, I'm not going anywhere near him. So Balaram became a little angry. And as you see in the painting, when she didn't come, he took his plow and said, all right, I'm going to pull the entire river Yamuna away from the river, and you'll be forced to come. And she realized, wow, this is serious business. And so Yamuna personified came forward and offered prayers or different paintings indicating the pastime. And here she speaks, oh, Rama, Rama, mighty armed one, I know nothing of your prowess. With a single portion of yourself, Ekankshena, you hold up the earth, O Lord of the universe. That means Anantashesha. Some of you have been around for a while. You know who Anantashesha is. He is a angsa of a single portion of Balaram, and his position is in the below the Patala region of the universe. And he's holding up the planets, including the Earth and all the planets of the universe, upon his hoods. O soul of the universe, I didn't understand your position as the Supreme Godhead, but now I have surrendered unto you. And you are always kind to your devotees. So put away your plow, please. No need to punish me. I got it. So Balaram was pacified, and he took his bath in the river Jamuna. You see the gopis behind him. They were also ready to take their separate little baths. And everything was nice. And you see again, there's in the painting, there's the full moon. Now his plow, a little bit more on his plow. And his plow, he used in other circumstances. Now besides, the plow has a purpose for agriculture. But sometimes when persons would misbehave, he would use his plow and let them know you're violating respect. See, here's another example. Some of you recognize the painting. The painting is, there was a circumstance, now Krishna and Vrindavan are back in Dwarka, and one of the chief places other than Dwarka was Hastinapur. Hastinapur was the capital, and during this period of time, Duryodhana was residing in the capital, in the palace, in Hastinapur. And something happened. The something that happened was Usha, who was the daughter of Duryodhana, she kept having this dream over and over and over again of a lover coming to her in a dream. And she was, one time when she was in the middle of the dream, she called out, and her friend was near her. Her friend said, "What was that?" She was embarrassed. But because her friend was a kind of a mystical person, she said, "A lover has been coming to see me." Anyway, Usha informed her friend, who had an ability to make different paintings. So she made paintings. She said, "That's him. Out of the many, many paintings, that's him." So it's Aniruddha. So her friend said, "Not only, if you want, I can identify him by paintings. I can bring him here. I have mystic powers. I can fly in the sky, and I can bring him here." And so Usha said, "Yeah." So her friend brought Aniruddha right into the in Vedic culture. Ladies would stay in the inner chamber of residential quarters, and no men were allowed. But Aniruddha was brought right into her private residential quarters. And woo, woo, woo. You know, the word kind of leaked out that Usha is not alone in her private residential quarters. There's a man in there. So her father came, and he was enraged, and he wanted to put Aniruddha in jail. Somebody sent a text message all the way to Dwarka, and the king in Dwarka, they found out, the one who had been in jail, Ugrasena, was put in jail by Kamsa. He's now ruling in in Dwarka. He decided, let's take our entire armies and teach a lesson to Duryodhana. And Balaram, he likes the role of being a peacemaker. He said, no, let me go. I'll make a peaceful solution instead of a big conflagration battle, big war. He said, sure, you're good. You're a good peacemaker. So Balaram came. And when Balaram came, he was expecting that Duryodhana would receive him, because that's part of Vedic culture. An uninvited guest, Vedic culture, Atiti it's called. When uninvited guest comes to your home, what to speak of palace, there's procedure for receiving the guest. They locked all the gates. Duryodhana. Balaram didn't like that. It's an offense. So he took his plow and started dragging the entire city of Hastinapur towards the Ganges. And Duryodhana had an uh-oh experience. Uh-oh. And so he came running out and made all apologies and tried to make things nice again. So Balaram put his club away or plow. And then Aniruddha was released, and Aniruddha and Usha got married. It had a happy ending. But it had in between, because of his plow, this is just painting, it was illustrating, it was big problem. So aside from Balaram's plow, there are many nice pastimes. Now we're going to go back to Vrindavan, where the two, Krishna and Balaram, are together in Vrindavan. There's a very nice verse from Canto 10, Chapter 12. I'm not going to go into it in detail because of the time and circumstance, but you see in yellow letters, those of you that are far away, you can't see so well, Krita Punya Punja. It's a celebrated verse that Prabhupada referred to again and again and again and again, and hundreds of times. Hundreds, plural. And in the verse, the circumstance, chapter 12, is Krishna is just 4 years old, 4 years, 4 months. And he and his cowherd boy friends went out every day to herd the calves because they were too little to herd the cows. So they're given charge of the calves. And what did they do? Their whole chapter is they would play. How old are you? Yeah. How many years old? You're 7? You're 7? Really? How old are you? Yeah. So you're 7.
6.
You're 6. How old are you? 4. Okay. So when Krishna was your age, 4, he was taking care of calves in the forest. So what do little 4-year-old kids do when they get together? They play. Like, this is probably really boring for you. You're just, what's this guy doing sitting there? I want to play. So that's what they did. All cowherd boys, they would go in the forest and play leapfrog and, make sounds of the birds and wrestle and, little boys just play and play and play and play and play and play and play. And then right in the midst of all of that, Shukadeva Goswami, narrating the childhood pastimes of Krishna, says, wow, these cowherd boys, far more than the Gyanis. The Gyanis know Brahma Sukha. They know the happiness of Brahman, but they don't play with the Supreme Brahman. And those who are in the material position, Maya Shratena, Naradarakena, they can't know anything about anything. And those that are in the position of servitorship in Vaikuntha, they see with awe and veneration the Supreme, but they don't play with the Supreme. But these cowherd boys, they're playing. And how amazing, how fortunate. Then the phrase, Krita Punya Punja. Krita means activity or having done. Punya commonly means piety, but material piety can't stack up material piety, and you reach the spiritual world. That's not how it works. So it's transcendental piety for many, 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 many lifetimes. And now they're playing with Krishna. So that's Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. Now, I have much more to present, but because it's almost 10 to 12, and we were supposed to start at 10:30, we start a little bit late. We've gone almost an hour, according to the timer on my computer. It's 55 minutes. So I think I'm going to stop, because the occasion is the appearance of Balaram. I mean, the next series of activities is describing what happened before they appeared. I'll just mention this one slide and then we'll end. This was one slide. What happened was, prior to Krishna and Balaram's appearance, there was a problem. There's always a problem. But the problem escalated and escalated and escalated, and earth was overburdened with demoniac kings, too many demoniac kings. And so the earth personified as a cow, you see the cow? Personified as a cow, she came before the demigods. Help! The demigods in turn went to Lord Brahma and said, help! So Lord Brahma, with the demigods and earth in the form of a cow, went to the shore of the milk ocean. That's what's on the left. And in the milk ocean, there's a white island, Svetadweep it's called. And the white island is Lord Vishnu lying on the serpent bed of Anantashesh, and at his feet there's the goddess Rama, the internal potency of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And down here, the bottom left, that's Garuda. So they went to the shore of the milk ocean. You know it's a milk ocean because you can see some fish in the ocean. So they went to the shore of the milk ocean and offered prayers to Lord Vishnu, help, with the explanation of what was the difficulty for Mother Earth. They wanted to give relief, but it was beyond their capacity. So Vishnu agreed, yes, I'll help. I'll appear on earth very soon. He appeared on earth as in the form of Krishna and his expansion, Balaram. And so that's the prelude to how the appearance of Krishna and Balaram occurred. And there's many other nice things. I was going to show many slides of Krishna's childhood pastimes with Balaram. And they appeared as if human-like, while they're not human-like. They're transcendental personalities, but they appeared as if. And then they did little children's activities as if. And then gradually, they came to the stage of what we've been discussing a little bit about, the herding of cows and calves and so forth and so on. Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. I'm pausing because I'm thinking about, like, where's this go? Because the pastimes, storytellers can go on and on and on. It's not just like Harry Potter or fiction or Ichabod Crane and all these other stories of storytellers. It's history of the personality of Godhead who appears once in a day of Brahma. And the day of Brahma is really, really long. Lots of zeros at the end of, the duration of the life of Brahma. And then during each day of Brahma, Krishna appears. When he appears, he performs pastimes that are otherwise unmanifest, but within him. Then they become manifest. The whole world can see. And that's what we're describing. So that the extent of those wonderful pastimes are without limit. And they're just to hear them and remember them, I'll share something with you. I've been speaking about Balaram's appearance day. This morning when I woke up, I was thinking of the pastimes of Balaram. And I don't remember what was going on during my sleep because I was asleep. But, first thing in the morning, because that's what I did to the very end of throughout the day and at the very end of the day, the pastimes of Balaram. So I've come to remind you of that which you have forgotten. Prabhupada's words. So how do you remember what you've forgotten? If you have amnesia, how do you get free from amnesia? And one of the techniques is to show the person that has amnesia something that resembles what they've forgotten. And then slowly, some remembrance comes. So awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness is like that, and the primary faculty is hearing. Sound vibration, starting with the mantra, and then other narrations. And I personally like images because they also help us remember what we've forgotten. It helps fix the impression through the eyes as well as through the ears. And what's the goal of all of this? The goal of all of this is to remember what we've forgotten. And what we've forgotten is our eternal relationship with the source of everything. We're a tiny, tiny, tiny fragmental part of the source of everything. And we've forgotten it. But there's a way to remember it. And the primary is what we've been doing, hearing from authoritative sources. And then we can slowly start, the fog starts to clear. We start to remember what we've forgotten. And then it becomes your life. While you're doing things of this world, you be responsible people. Bhakti doesn't require giving things up. Bhakti requires purifying the things in relation to the source. That's the requirement. And it primarily is through hearing. So as much time and attention when you're taking that time to hear the sound vibration of transcendence is part of the process of remembering that which we have forgotten. And it's very, very powerful and very pleasant, very sweet. Remembering who you are is nice. It's like waking up from a bad dream and the tiger's chasing you and you're perspiring and you call out, "Ah!" and you wake up. There's no tiger. It was just a dream. And then reality is reality. It's separate from illusion. And that's the bhakti process fundamentally rests upon sound, and then through hearing sound to remember what we've forgotten. And then the broadcaster of that sound is the representative of Krishna, ultimately the original spiritual master, that's Balaram. And anyone else that does that function, they're representing the original. It's just a service. It's just a service. Prabhupada calls the service of Guru being like a postal peon. Peon is not a flattering term. It means like a small guy, a peon. So when the person that delivers a letter, he's the postal peon. But, the one who receives the letter, it's not from the postal peon, it's from the one who wrote the letter. And the postal peon is just delivering the letter. Here, sir, this is for you. And it's from your dear beloved who you've forgotten. Please accept. And you open the letter and it's filled with loving words that you had forgotten. That's the function that's the Guru function. Balaram does that. He's the original. And any one of us can perform that function just by reminding other people of what we have forgotten. Just like our children here. Aside from the little one that got too bored. The others, you're still sitting here, thank you. I don't know how much what's going in, but it's Krishna's message to you that we have forgotten who we are and who are what a loving relationship with you. Each of us has a mother and father. There's no exception. Everyone has a mother and a father. Not just a mother or just a father, have a mother and a father. Each of us. And the original mother and the original father we've forgotten. And if that consciousness of the original mother-father becomes restored, it gives even more meaning to the biological mother and father and anything else, making that spiritual connection. So that's why I'm visiting you here, all the way from Chicago to Milwaukee. It's this equally long drive going back as it was to get here. But it's nice to be here. It's to do the function of just reminding myself and all of us of what we've forgotten. What's our eternal relationship, loving relationship with the original Father? And it's a Balaram function. So we can thank Balaram for rendering that service and giving each of us the opportunity to remind one another and others, beside the people in the room, people that aren't here, that which they've forgotten. That's a function on behalf of the Balaram function. So let's see if there's some discussion. Krishna Krishna. Little over 1 hour.
I'm asking to let others.
Hare Krishna Mataji, very nice lecture and pastime of Balaram. One thing you mentioned about Ananga Manjari,
Yeah.
Radharani's sister. We haven't heard much of her interaction with Krishna. Is there any reference in Bhagavatam?
There's no reference in Bhagavatam, no.
Thank you.
Other Puranas, yes. And the teachings of our Goswamis, yes. Bhagavatam reference, no.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj, great lecture. Thank you very much. One question, Maharaj, for the kids. I'm thinking these paintings are so beautiful. Is there any way they can have an interaction, like to understand what the symbolism of, for example, the Milky Ocean, right? If there are any opportunities for them, either online or maybe.
Oh, they're all online.
Okay, would like to.
I don't have a special, a connection with artists. It's all from online.
All right. Beautiful painting. Illustrations are great.
And it does take a while to gather them all.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj. Pranam Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, we know like Balaram's appearance is to like teach us how to serve Krishna, right? This is the question, like this is the service I'm doing for my Siksha Guru Maharaj. He asked me to pose this question.
Who asked you?
My Siksha Guru.
Okay.
Yeah. I told him that we are getting your association today, and he gave us a service to ask this question to you.
Okay. Backstory.
Yeah. Maharaj, like before initiation, during initiation, we promise our Guru Maharaj that we follow all regulative principles and 16 rounds of chanting every day.
Yes.
How about like how much percentage of our day we need to accommodate for service, Maharaj?
Okay. One time a devotee was in the hospital with pneumonia. And they were in anxiety because they were initiated, they had taken vows. And so they asked Prabhupada with tears in their eyes, I can't breathe. I had pneumonia. I'm in an oxygen tent, so what do I do? And Prabhupada gave an answer. In sequence, first comes health, then comes sadhana, then comes service. So your question is service. It's down here. Health, sadhana, service. And before taking initiation vows, you should be very clear what it means. And, you keep your word. A person of integrity, something that I learned from my parents. A man is only as good as his word. You give your word, you keep your word. So, if circumstance, health, or let's say, a mother that has a newborn child, now that's a service, but she may be compromised with all the service that she has to do with a newborn child. So then case the sadhana gets crushed or crunched or diminished perhaps until that point in time when the child is now able to manage on their own a little bit more, and then back to the vow. So, did that answer your question? Don't get so busy, I don't have time for sadhana.
Yes, Maharaj. Like when we before initiation, we stay connected to temple and devotees when we do lot of service, right, Maharaj? But once we
Do service. Don't diminish service, but don't diminish chanting.
Right, Maharaj. At the same time, you have to focus on completing our rounds, because it's we promised Krishna that we're gonna do 16 rounds.
Therefore,
at least.
you do it.
Right. Right, Maharaj. But
Don't wiggle.
we don't. But
No but.
but how about service, Maharaj? Do we need to yes, I need to do my temple service, I need to do my Maharaj service, whatever services, do we still stay in the same
This is
mood?
the same question, it's the same answer.
Okay.
Before the so and another detail is, this is off topic. Here's a little something that for our edification. Sometimes Prabhupada would be asked questions that had nothing to do with the topic, and he would ask, does this have something to do with the topic we discussed? Obviously the answer was no, but then he just was so silence. And then he explained, we've been spending half hour, 45 minutes on a certain topic, and if we go into any subject that you wish to discuss, it detracts from the topic we just spent a half hour, 45 minutes on. And then it becomes like a popcorn machine, all over the place. As soon as you open that door.
Sorry, Maharaj. Yeah. I took the service that my Siksha Guru gave, Maharaj. That's it.
You did your service you were asked to do. So that's why you responded.
Sorry, Maharaj.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I had one comment and one question from today's class. And someone was discussing yesterday as well with me, and they also were asking two questions, but I was not able to respond. So if that is okay, I can ask those as well. So the comment was that I'm very grateful that you explained that how Lord Balaram is performing his service of being a guru, even though outwardly I am seeing this as a little bit non-empathic way of dragging Yamuna. But then, otherwise also I was a little bit unsettled, but when I thought more about it, I'm thinking that, Maharaj, please correct me if this is wrong understanding, that he's in one sense claiming the devotee, because that's his job to, I mean, that is his service to bring everybody to Krishna. And once he has accepted the dependence, like I'm speaking about the guru as well, that once he has accepted the dependence, he wants to make sure that he wants to really drag them to Krishna if they are not, understanding the matter seriously. Is this understanding right?
No. You can't drag somebody to Krishna. When Balarama was using his plow to drag Hastinapur or to drag the river Jamuna, it was in response to both the river Jamuna personified and Duryodhana having a position of disrespect. And so then there's dragging. And when there's disrespect, then it's like, shaking your finger or scolding or letting the person know this isn't okay. No, it's not in all circumstances that one, like Balaram, must do that to perform the function. But they may do that when there's disrespect. Voluntarily, people need to go to Krishna, not because they're being dragged to go to Krishna. You have children, so you know very well you can't drag your children to Krishna.
So the question was, Maharaj, like as you mentioned, this is, bhakti does not require giving things up, but purifying our, like when we are hearing and chanting.
Yeah.
My question was like as Mataji also asked, like when we are like too much invested in doing services, and services means like what is our other thing in life, like we want to perform services, so we take
Fantastic.
up services. We want to take up services, and then we want to keep our word also, and that might become sometimes so pressing that
No. You just don't promise services that compromise your already existing sadhana premises. It's time management. And you set a priority. There's the foundation upon which the building rests. You don't compromise on the foundation, because then the building can fall apart if the foundation is shaky. So don't make a nice foundation and then start disrupting the foundation. That's very foolish. The whole thing can be lost.
is it okay to ask yesterday's Mataji's question that we were discussing? Or
It's the same class yesterday as today. So is it on topic?
yeah.
Yeah.
So she was asking like, we know like Vrindavan and Mathura, how Krishna went there, how he performed pastimes. But what is the connection? When did he go to Dwarka? And did he act as a king of Dwarka, or like there was another king in Dwarka, like Vasudeva?
What's your question? What were the circumstances of his leaving Mathura and going to Dwarka? That's your
How
question?
Dwarka came into picture?
Oh, how Dwarka came into the picture. Krishna is in Mathura. And Jarasandha, it was inimical. So he gathered armies. And 17 times he came with his armies to attack Krishna. 17 times Krishna destroyed the entire army, leaving just one person standing on the battlefield. and told him, you can go back home now. And he became, furious and went back home, got more Akshauhini divisions and so forth and so on. But on the 18th time, Krishna had gotten a message from Rukmini. That was the key. Rukmini's message was, help. My brother, Rukmi, wants me to marry Shishupal. No way. Help. Please come. So it's an eternal relationship. It's just a Leela of her circumstance. So Krishna was saying yes in his heart to his first queen. And then he, in advance, sent Vishwakarma to build a place where his queen and later queens could reside. Vishwakarma built in the sea Dwarka, which was impenetrable, blah, 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 according to his architectural capacity. It was built by Krishna or by Vishwakarma on the behalf of Krishna so he could have a palace for Rukmini. And then everything else in his pastimes. That's how it came into being.
When we were discussing like why there are so many Hanuman temples in India rather than Lord Balaram's temples, and my understanding was that because of materialistic.
This is off
aspirations.
topic.
Yeah, but she was like, why Lord Balaram's temples are not there so many in other parts of.
That's okay. There's lots of Krishna temples. And Balaram is it's like how many Lakshmana temples are there? Ram temples. How many Lakshman temples? How many Balaram temples? Because in relation to Krishna, that's in relation to Ram, that's Lakshmana. They're the same person. Okay. Anybody else? Because otherwise we're going to close up. Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, question from yesterday's class, Maharaj. You said that in one of the slides that Garga Muni performed name
giving, yeah.
ceremony in secretly. Maharaj, can you elaborate why secretly? What is not function?
So your question, why secretly?
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. The circumstance for the name-giving ceremony was Nanda Maharaj, the king of the cowherds, had gone to Mathura to pay his annual taxes to the king. Because the king was in Mathura, and the area surrounding Mathura was the agricultural land that supplied necessities for the king and his kingdom. So the person in charge, kind of like the landholder person, gave taxes to the king, some percentage or portion of his yield. Taxes. That's not a new thing. So he went to Mathura to pay his taxes. When he went to Mathura to pay his taxes, he visited his friend, Vasudeva. Now he was able to visit Vasudeva in prison because Vasudeva was still in prison. But they had some meeting. And Vasudeva did not disclose the truth. Psst. You think your son is Krishna? It's my son. But he didn't say. So he said, I think it's time, have you done name-giving ceremony for these two boys? No. I think it's a good idea if Gargamuni were to perform, because he's so qualified, but it should be done in a secret place, because if he does it in a public place, Humps will come to know. So it should be done in a secret place. So the secret places, as the painting shows, it was in a cowshed. And that's where the name-giving ceremony occurred. And that's why it was in a secret way, in a secret place. Recommended by Vasudeva, because Gargamuni is the priest for the royal family. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishna Balaram ki, Gaur Premanandi Haribo. The one parting thing before I disappear, I brought with me from the place that I was before I came here. I was in Alachua, and then I was in Atlanta. And they gave me some Mahaprasadam from both places. So I'd like to distribute some Mahaprasadam. Radha Shamasundara Mahaprasadam. So it's a nice little box, and I'll walk around and just stick